Sing the song for me. You don't know, babe.
Oh, yeah.
When you hold me and kiss me slowly, it's the sweetest thing.
And it don't change if I had my way. You don't know that you are.
You're the coffee that I need in the morning.
You're my sunshine in the rain, but it's boring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all. I just wanna see, and I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it on my eyes.
All right. I just went to highlight some talent, man. I saw this shit on Twitter earlier this week, man. I don't even know where this little girl is from, man. She's I believe it may be Malaysia, and she's blind. And like they may even have like a Malaysia Has Talent or something like that. And she won this talent competition, but she was on TikTok, man. And she did this duet with this guy, man. I was like blown away by the amount of talent that was on this young girl, man. I just felt like, yo, man, let's open the show with some beautiful things, man. Let's open the show with some beautiful things. And so that's what we did today here at the Spann Podcast, man. We opening up with beautiful things, man. Real talk. But it is episode 318 of the Spann Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. And yo, man, let's get to some stuff, man. Let's get to some stuff. Let me go right on ahead and tell you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get read here live on the show and responded to in kind. I'm sorry. They'll get played here. And if you're watching the show here live on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, man, you can chop it up with your man Spann here live as we do in the show. Area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Podcast Network. And for those of you who would like to give on a more consistent basis, you can hook us up with a Patreon patronage and donate to the show in that way. You become part of the Golden Circle of the Spann Podcast. Now, the Golden Circle of the Spann Podcast are the people who allow for us to do the show here live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. So, for those of you who would like to contribute in that way, man, we really do appreciate you guys who do that as well. 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio are greatly appreciated. We appreciate everyone who does that. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everyone know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But yeah, we got the business out of the way, man. We got that out of the way like quickly. But yo, man, it's been a kind of a busy week for your man Spann, man. I've been just going through the grind of the work and stuff, and then I do have some things happening in the background that I kind of can't wait to tell you motherfuckers about. But it's gotta wait because I don't want to jinx it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's been a pretty busy time, man. Not only for me, but also there's a lot of shit going on in the world, man. Real talk. And that one of the things that I almost didn't do the show today, right? Because I was trying to figure out what exactly had I been really paying attention to this week, and there was a few things that were happening, and I'm like, oh, it started clicking like last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gonna happen. But I got a couple random thoughts, y'all. I got some things I was kind of like just randomly thinking about this week, and I feel like I was sharing with you guys. So my first random thought here, man, is why do home printers suck so bad, bruh? Like, for real, I know I ain't the only one who's going through multiple home printers, man. And they break for the craziest of reasons, right? Like, you got to go, you get the home printer. It comes with your computer sometimes. Other times, like, it don't even come with it. Like, they make the printers so often now that the stores are willing to just throw in a printer. Like, hey, man, just take this shit. You know what I'm saying? Just take this shit. We don't even want it. Just take it. $29 is yours, nigga. And like, home printers are just like they suck, bro. Like, you get them, and like, here's the thing, right? when you first get your computer or whatever, you get your computer and your home printer, like, you know, you printing pictures and shit, you know, because they got the ones that like, yo, you can have high quality pictures and whatnot, man. Now you're gonna run out of all of your fucking ink, but yeah, you can go ahead and print out these photos and shit that you wanted to, you know, if you and your family or whatever, you can print them right from home and shit, right? But then when you want to actually print something like of consequence, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you get your shit and you look in your printer and like the print is actually like kind of spotty and shit. You know, you start getting them little lines in your print or whatever, and you got ink in the motherfucker. Though. Here's the stripped out part. You got ink in the motherfucker, right? But it don't print your shit correctly. And then it's telling you like your ink levels is low, and you like, nigga, I just bought a cartridge. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't know. Maybe your kid's been printing some shit and you ain't know that shit or whatever. Now you got to go buy another $40, go get you another ink cartridge. Preferably, you know, like you get the black one because you know at least you're gonna need black for what your documents and shit. But every time you go to print your shit, the important shit, you can't really print your shit. There's something about these home printers, man. I don't really fuck with them. I don't really vibe with them. I got this motherfucker right here. This bitch been sitting here right here. I got this thing right here. It's the scanning. It does photo printing. It does it's supposed to be like some like a fax machine and all that other shit. Man, I can't tell you the last time I used this damn thing. Like for real. Like it don't even connect with my shit no more, bro. It just sits here like it's just here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get rid of this motherfucker yet. It's just here, man. That was one of the things I was thinking about, man. Why do home printers like just suck so bad, man? Real talk. Another thing I was thinking about, man. Why are all like the addiction support groups, you know what I'm saying? Like Alcoholics Anonymous, like Narcotics Anonymous, all these alcohol, you know, all these support groups, man. Why do they call themselves anonymous when the first thing you do when you get there is tell everybody your fucking name, man? Like, how is it anonymous if you telling everybody your name? You know what I'm saying? Like you roll up in there and be like, you know, my name Tony and I'm a gamer. Hi, Tony. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to make fun. That's not to make fun of people who are really dealing with addiction issues and shit. I'm just trying to figure out for me, like, why is it? Why do they call it anonymous when you dropping your name as soon, like the first time anybody see you, you dropping your name? You know, I was thinking about that. I don't know why and shit, but I was. Another thing I was thinking about, man. How come like the DoorDash delivery driver like never matches up with the name of the person who you told was going to deliver your shit? You know what I'm saying? Like you get some like you order some stuff on DoorDash, and you know DoorDash is good for like sending you text messages and shit. They want to upgrade, they want to update you on the process of how soon you gonna get your food and got picked up, this, that, and the other, right? So you get the text message and shit, and text message be like, yo, Latasha just picked up your order and you should be receiving your food soon, right? And you be like, cool, right? And then, you know, the DoorDash, like Latasha is approaching your house right now, right? And you're like, cool. And so you get ready to go get, go to the door, go get your food. And then you open the door and it's like some big nigga standing there. Like, it look like his name's Stanley or some shit. And he's standing there with your tacos. Like, yo, man, you ordered extra guac, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, how is that even a thing? How is that a thing? Now, I know somebody's got like a real explanation for that shit, but I don't care, man. Like, that ain't right. That ain't right, man. Like, and it's not that, like, you just like if I'm looking for Ahmed to come deliver my food, I don't expect Trina to come up to my food with the hamburgers, bro. I just don't. I'm looking for Ahmed. So I'm just trying to figure out, how does DoorDash allow shit like that to happen? That's all I'm saying. Cause it's always like that. I don't think I've ever ordered anything from DoorDash and the person's name matched up with the motherfucker who showed up with my food, bro. Not once. I can't think of one time, man. Can't think of one time for real. But yo, those have been my random thoughts, man. It's time to get to the news. I'm looking up myself up at the screen and shit. I look like Jike Spingleton up in this motherfucker, man. For real. I got this like all the black and the hat and the glasses, nigga. I look like Jike Spingleton up in this bitch, man. For real. Oh shit. Yeah, first thing in the news, man. Our first story here is has to do with one Kyle Rittenhouse, man. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Kyle Rittenhouse was the 17-year-old boy who went to Kenosha, Wisconsin in an effort to help preserve property and to keep people from rioting or whatever. At least that's his story. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 people while he was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And Kyle Rittenhouse has just been released from jail after posting a $2 million bond. We get this story from the Associated Press. It says a 17-year-old from Illinois who was charged with killing 2 people during a protest in Wisconsin, whose case has become a rallying cry for some conservatives, posted $2 million bail Friday and was released from custody. Kyle Rittenhouse is accused of fatally shooting Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Hubert, and wounding Gage Grosskreutz during a demonstration August 25th that followed the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha. He posted bond through his attorney at about 2 p.m. Kenosha County Sheriff Sergeant David Wright said. Rittenhouse of Antioch, Illinois, told police that he was attacked while he was guarding a business and that he fired in self-defense. He faces multiple charges, including intentional homicide, reckless endangerment, and being a minor in possession of a firearm. Wisconsin law doesn't permit minors to carry or possess a gun unless they're hunting. He is due back in court December 3rd for preliminary hearing. So, first things first, man, I'm just kind of amazed that anybody would be let out of jail on a murder rap. I mean, I get it that they posted a bond, like they gave him a bond that they thought would not have been attainable for for like someone of his stature, and more than likely for someone who committed the crime that he's accused of committing, right? But I think what we're seeing now is that, like, with the advent of things like GoFundMe, with the advent of things like what's that, Kickstarter and Indiegogo, things, these things, and like these crowdfunding sort of efforts that are being made, and the political like kind of rhetoric that is like surrounding cases like this, it galvanized a bunch of people who saw Kyle Rittenhouse as a victim, despite the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse took his 17-year-old ass to another state to defend the neighborhood that wasn't his and killed 2 people who were from there, and decided he was going to invoke self-defense, right? So you got a bunch of people on the conservative leaning bent who believe that, like, Kyle Rittenhouse was in fear for his life and that he should be able to defend his life and he should be able to defend property, this, that, and other. I'm like, yeah, I hear you. He should be able to defend his life. He put himself in harm's way, though. It's much like the same thing with George Zimmerman, right? George Zimmerman provoked an altercation with Trayvon Martin. He was getting his ass whooped when Trayvon Martin started to get the best of him. He kills Trayvon Martin and then claims self-defense after he initiated the contact. Kyle Rittenhouse initiated this entire thing, this entire string of events, by even having his ass up in Kenosha, Wisconsin for those demonstrations anyway, right? Armed with an AR-15. Now, I don't know how many people travel with the express consent, consent of, or the intent of going to protect anything, and they bring a semi-automatic firearm like an AR-15 with them in order to protect something that wasn't theirs, right? Sometimes you, even as a gun owner myself, sometimes you kind of look at these people and it's like they're itching for the opportunity to use these weapons, right? And I'm not blind to that reality. I'm not blind to that mentality that there are a lot of people who take advantage of these firearm laws, and the only reason that they even want these firearms is because they can't wait to use these on people, right? And this is part of the reason why you got all of these like militia groups and stuff like that, like kind of sprouting up. They play warrior, they play army in the motherfucking on the weekends and shit. They play it all, like they're doing all of this training, but they're also doing this training because they do eventually want to try to use these tactics on somebody, on something, right? They're not doing this because, it's like, hey, it's fun. Although shooting can be fun, I enjoy it. But some of the rhetoric and some of the politics surrounding this are kind of poison in the well. And then you start looking at what's going on with Kyle Rittenhouse. He's got a lot of support because, for one, you got Donald Trump, the dude who's currently occupying the White House right now, actually talked about Kyle Rittenhouse as if he were a victim. If you were to listen to any right-wing media outlet, they talk about Kyle Rittenhouse as if he were a victim, in much the same way that they tried to victimize what's my man name? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman was a victim of the circumstances, and this is why George Zimmerman is a hero on the right, despite the fact that he stalked a 17-year-old kid. He stalked a 17-year-old kid, instigated an altercation with him, got his ass whooped, and then ended that kid's life because he couldn't handle the fact that he was getting his ass whooped by a 17-year-old kid in an altercation that he instigated. Here we have a 17-year-old kid with a firearm going to another state, instigating an altercation with people, finding himself fearing for his life and killing two people. And so on the right, they feel like they'll try to justify any killing, especially when they consider like peaceful demonstrators to be a part of Antifa, and Antifa are like anti-fascists, and they think Antifa is like this whole ass group and shit. It's like it's more of an ideology than a group, but they think of it as a group. And when you think about the political rhetoric and how it's being framed for them, Kyle Rittenhouse is a victim for them. And so when these people look at Kyle Rittenhouse, who took an AR-15 across state lines, killed two people as he was in there, as he was across state lines, they look at that and they say, like, well, he's fighting for our cause, therefore he's a martyr, and I want to help him in any way I can. So let me go ahead and put $15-20 on this GoFundMe to help get this kid out of jail, because I don't believe he deserves to be there. Right? Never mind the fact that the reason why those demonstrations were ever taking place was because a black man got shot in the back 7 times by law enforcement. Those same people would not be willing to put up a GoFundMe or contribute to a GoFundMe to help to help that man with his family's like expenses, his hospital bills, his rehabilitation cost, the loss of income from any job opportunities or any job that he may have had at the time. Like they're not thinking about that shit. But this kid who went up to across state lines with an AR-15, oh, trust and believe they're going to get that money. They're going to get that money because they believe that his life has worth and that the other guy doesn't. And this is why we talk about Black Lives Matter, man. They don't believe it. They don't believe it, but they believe this kid's life matters. And this is why they were able to pony up $2 million to get this kid out of jail. He's killed 2 people. He's walking the streets free today. And then you got like guys like, who's that? Ricky Schroeder, who was, I believe he was the actor from, he was a kid from the show back in the 80s, man, Silver Spoons. It's like he's joined a long list of has-been 80s fucking, actors and actresses and shit who somehow they feel as though they're not getting jobs because of their political beliefs. But truthfully, like, y'all not box office either, man. I don't know who's been itching to see like a Ricky Schroeder film, like Kirstie Alley. Like, I mean, after like Cheers and shit, like, and Look Who's Talking, like, what was she doing, like, really though? What's my man name? Kevin Sorbo, was James Woods, like B-list actors and shit, So yeah, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, man, is we got Michigan Republican state lawmakers actually met with Donald Trump as Donald Trump continues his assault on trying to undermine the results of the 2020 elections, man. All right, so we get this story here. This comes out of NBCnews.com, and it says that Republican state lawmakers from Michigan met with President Trump on Friday and were greeted at the White House and were greeted at the Washington, D.C. airport by protesters yelling, "Certify the vote," and holding signs that said, "Shame." Excuse me. About 20 demonstrators awaited State Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey and other lawmakers as they arrived at Reagan National Airport. The White House meeting comes as Trump's lawyers call for state legislatures to name Trump electors in states won by Joe Biden. The entire election, frankly, in all the swing states should be overturned, and the legislature should make sure that the electors are selected for Trump, campaign lawyer Sidney Powell told Fox Business on Thursday. A state GOP leader said Shirkey and House Speaker Lee Chatfield are expecting Trump to pressure them to overturn the election results based on unproven claims of fraud and irregularities in Detroit. They intend to tell him that while they will pursue probes into irregularities and potential fraud to avoid future situations, they will uphold Michigan law, which calls for the winner of the vote to get the state's 16 electors, the Republicans said. Biden won the state by almost 160,000 votes. I'm sure the president is going to try to convince them to do this, the leader said, of their overruling state certification and appointing their own electors, but I won't find it hard to believe that they would go along with it. Michigan's winner-take-all rule precludes the legislature from appointing electors, he said. That means the legislature would have to pass a new law and that the Democratic governor would have to sign it. So essentially, this is all a moot point, as far as Trump trying to get the legislature here in Michigan to overturn the election results and for the legislature to appoint electors to the electoral college that will essentially just vote for Donald Trump in spite of what the people here in Michigan have already voted that they wanted. The interesting thing about this is that as much as Donald Trump is talking about this being a rigged election, and he's been setting this up for a long time, he won this state in 2016 by about maybe 11,000 votes, right? Wasn't that big? It wasn't that large a margin when you consider the grand scheme of things. When you also consider how many people didn't vote in the 2016 election, a lot of people stayed home. To be losing by 160,000, and to think that the legislature can somehow finagle a way for them to nullify the voices of the people who voted in this election and a resounding rejection of this dude is I don't even know how to word for it right now. Beyond crazy, right? But also you're seeing this as a pattern. You're seeing him lose in Georgia. You're seeing him lose in Arizona. You're seeing him lose in Pennsylvania. You're seeing him lose in Wisconsin. So the blue wall that was essentially supposed to be there for Hillary Clinton has been rebuilt. But here's the other thing that I kind of want to point to. So I know in the lead up to this election, there were various rappers and shit who popped up and they were talking about, we got to make the Republican Party we got to make the Democrats earn our vote, man. We've been voting for these people for far too long and we haven't gotten anything for our votes, despite the fact that that's historically inaccurate. But, they want to make us, they want us to continue to vote for them, but they don't want to do anything for our vote, man. They come get our vote and then they don't do shit for us or whatever, right? That's a prevailing, kind of line of thinking for a lot of folks. But then you think about this, man, and my man Rod said this. He was like, yo, man, when have the Republicans ever really courted our vote either? So we're going to they haven't done anything for our votes, but we just going to give it to them and hope that they give us something, right? Doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense. But then also you add to the fact that you had this, right? So I remember Candace Owens had this Blexit campaign that she called herself coming up with, which was a ripoff of another. Blexit was already a thing. It had absolutely nothing to do with Republican politics before Candace Owens co-opted that name and made it about something entirely different. It actually had something to do with black banking. Blexit was initially a movement to getting people to bank with black institutions. That's what it was initially. Candace Owens co-opted that shit, made it about something entirely different, made it about black people leaving the Democratic Party to go vote for Republicans or whatever else, right? Now, Candace Owens wanted y'all to go out. She wanted you to do this Blexit and y'all go vote for these Republicans, despite the fact that Republicans right now are trying to disenfranchise black voters, right? You think about the fact that they are in cities where like many of the places that they're trying to challenge the voters or challenge the certification, challenge the legitimacy of the voters. In Georgia, where they lost, they're challenging the votes in Atlanta, where largely there are black people there. In Pennsylvania, they're challenging the voters in Philadelphia, where there's a large contingent of black voters there. In Michigan, they are challenging the voters in Detroit. As a matter of fact, we had the Wayne County canvassers. They were talking about certifying the votes in all of the cities of Wayne County except Detroit. Right? Even they were going to do it in Livonia, and Livonia had way more irregularities than the city of Detroit did. But the problem was Detroit, which voted overwhelmingly Democratic, voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden, has a large contingent of black voters here. Same thing in Wisconsin. They're challenging the votes in Milwaukee, where the largest majority of the black voters are. So for all of this shit about the Blexit, all this shit black Republicans talk about Blexit, like, nigga, they're not just trying to get you to not vote for Democrats in the election. Nigga, they're trying to erase your ass from the electorate, period. They don't want your votes counted at all. As you cast your votes, they're trying to get your votes taken away from you. As you cast your votes, they like, yo, man, hey, I saw a truck, man. They had a truck back there. It was like 130,000 votes in that truck, and they just dumped it in the back, man. They just dumped it in the back, and then they counted them later. You know, they did like, you know, they all these mail-in ballots and shit. They just counted them later. You know what I'm saying? Like they have a concerted effort of targeting black voters to get your votes not to count. So this idea that you know, black people should make this concerted effort to give up the Democratic Party because you haven't been getting anything, despite the fact that that's historically inaccurate, but to leave the Democratic Party in order to vote for Republicans who are right now trying to disenfranchise your vote, whether you voted for Donald Trump or not. That's the tripped out part about it. Is that they don't know how you voted. But because you black and because you live in a certain area, they want your votes tossed. This is what they're doing, man. So yeah, man, the Michigan Republican lawmakers, essentially they can't do shit because of the way that the law is set up here now, man, but they essentially can't do anything about it. So that's in the news. And in the continuation of that, Rudy Giuliani targeted Wayne County, claiming that Rudy Giuliani targets Wayne County, raising claims judge found not credible. So we get this story here from the Detroit News. It says the President Donald Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, took aim at Wayne County, suggesting Thursday that his client will win Michigan's election without votes cast in the state's largest county. They want y'all votes tossed. Hey, we'd win Michigan if you don't count Wayne County. How you gonna not count the most populous motherfucking county in the whole goddamn state? It don't even make sense, man. It says the former mayor of New York City focused on allegations made in a case brought on behalf of Detroit poll challengers who sought to stop the certification of Wayne County's election results. The claims found on purported restrictions on challengers, late arriving absentee ballots, and Detroit's clerk office workers who supposedly encouraged early voters to cast their ballots for Democratic President-elect Joe Biden and Democrats. But City of Detroit officials have denied the allegations, and Wayne County Circuit Judge Timothy Kinney said the plaintiff's interpretation of events was incorrect and not credible. During a press conference at the Republican National Committee headquarters in Washington, Giuliani said that the Trump campaign has identified 300,000 illegitimate ballots in Michigan, but did not provide detailed specifics. These ballots were all cast basically in Detroit, that Biden won 80% to 20%, Giuliani said. So you see it changes the result of the election in Michigan if you take out Wayne County. It's a very significant case, Giuliani said, as the case said of the case of Constantino versus Detroit. In Wayne County as a whole, Biden won 68% of the vote. He got 332,617 more votes than Trump there. Biden won Michigan by 154,000 votes. According to the current unofficial results, all 83 counties have already voted to validate their totals. The Board of State Canvassers is scheduled to meet Monday to consider statewide certification, which we largely expect to happen. It should happen. Yo, man, like we knew that there was, we knew that Donald Trump was going to try to play every motherfucking card. He's trying to pull at all these little loopholes and shit to see if there's any sort of way that he can stay in power, because trust and believe, Donald Trump knows that once he's no longer in the president's office, once he's no longer under the protection of that, there's a deluge of legal jeopardy that man finds himself in, whether that be his income taxes, whether that be the women who are accusing him of sexual assault, whether that be some of the lawsuits where he's stiffed workers that worked for him, not paying contractors and shit. Donald Trump is in fucking dire legal peril once he's no longer under the protection of being president of the United States. And he's going to fight tooth and nail to try to keep this office, despite the fact that the people have voted to get his ass the fuck up out of there, man. So that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news that I thought was kind of interesting, man, is that gentrification, man. Gentrification is a really big, topic in a lot of inner cities and stuff. And there was a story here in Detroit about a sign going up about the hood being closed to gentrifiers, and it actually gained quite a bit of popularity here in the city. So I got video of this story here. Let me go ahead and pull this up so I can let you guys watch here right along with your boy. If my computer decides it wants to act as though we got some shit to do today. All right, let's do that, computer. Let's go ahead and load that page up. All right. You know, Comcast been showing their ass with me lately, man. I mean, we gonna talk about that later, but they've been showing their ass. But yo, let's check this story out. As soon as this shit loads. Mm-hmm. Oh, we really not gonna do this? Like we really not gonna do this? Like we just gonna spin and shit?
A street
Okay, here we go.
sign that popped up in Detroit's North End neighborhood is getting a lot of attention and also raising a lot of eyebrows.
It plainly says hood closed to gentrifiers, addressing a big concern in inner city neighborhoods across the country. Our Everett castmate caught up with the man who created it, and he says he's just getting started.
This is where the sign once stood. It read "Hood closed to gentrifiers," and the man behind the sign told me that police took it down. But for him, it's more than just a sign. It's a full-blown campaign, and he's about to take things up a notch. Meet the man they call Bryce Detroit.
We are live and direct on Oakland Avenue.
Like many others, he calls Detroit's North End neighborhood home.
Would describe it as a neighborhood that is steeped in history, steeped in legacy, in particular, Black art and cultural economy.
Because of his love for the neighborhood, he had this road sign installed right across from the historic Apex Bar. It's no secret who he wants to keep out.
It is my own personal politic in regard to land use in my neighborhood, folks who are foreign to our cultural norms, folks who are foreign to our neighborhood. And in those scenarios, we have experienced people who come under the guise of support. They're inappropriately trying to claim or extract the cultural capital of our people.
The sign has since been taken down, but not before its message gained popularity from area residents. This is just the beginning of his anti-gentrification movement.
We are looking to deploy 22 signs throughout the city, strategically deploy them, but we're going to keep it hush-hush for right now.
As he quietly rolls out the next signs to hit the city, the movement continues with these "Hood closed to gentrifiers" t-shirts and more. For Bryce, it's time to start talking about Detroit's neighborhoods and who's involved in developing them.
It is time for a sophisticated conversation about the way that our neighborhoods are developed.
For more information on Bryce Detroit and his "Hood closed to gentrifiers" campaign and more, we posted a link to his website on ours. Just go to clickondetroit.com. Everett Cassidy, Local 4.
All right. So yeah, man. I thought that was an interesting story to kind of bring up because it actually kind of makes me it brings some questions up for me, right? So one of the first questions that I have about the idea or the question of gentrification is it solely racially based, right? Is it gentrification, for say like a formerly like kind of depressed area when you start seeing like, it is a formerly depressed area and it's largely people of color, largely like Black people or largely Hispanic folks, largely people of the Arab community, you know what I'm saying? Like some of these areas that have been like kind of largely depressed, and not the highest of incomes are living there. But you start seeing some sort of like redevelopment happening in that neighborhood and other people start moving in. So is it gentrification? Say, for instance, by moving to an area that's in like Dearborn, Michigan, and it's largely a Muslim population there. And there's a home that's been, kind of redeveloped, remodeled and everything. And I'm like, yo, man, I like that house, man. I think I might want to like move here. I think I'm going to live there. And I decide to live there. I decide to move in there. And suddenly I'm a gentrifier. Does it make me the gentrifier because I'm not of the cultural makeup of who's already there, right? Also, if I move back, right? Say for instance, if I moved away from the hood or whatever, and I have a little bit more means now, and I decide that I want to move back into an area that was like, it wasn't the greatest when I moved away, but like I'm seeing it sort of kind of rebound, and I move back into that area. does that also make me a gentrifier, despite the fact that I'm also of the culture? I look like the people who lived it. Does that also make me a gentrifier? And so I don't know who that is, so they can stop calling me. But I kind of wonder about that, right? And so the other thing that kind of makes me think about this too is, I do work around like all over Southeast Michigan and stuff, right? And so I work in like the Grosse Points, I work in Detroit, I work in Dearborn, I work in Ann Arbor, I work in Lincoln Park, I work in Allen Park, I work all over Southeast Michigan, right? And the type of work that we're doing is essentially infrastructure work, right? We're upgrading infrastructures for like gas services all over Southeast Michigan. And it's interesting how when I'm working in certain areas, like say, for instance, if I'm working in Detroit, there's a concern. There's a legitimate and palpable concern about when I come to do the work that I'm doing, whether or not the people that live in certain areas are being this is in preparation for them to get moved the hell out of the neighborhood, right? I was talking to a customer a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about the area in which she lived because it was a bunch of 2-family flats and stuff. And I was imagining that place with like in the 60s and 70s and stuff, when I would imagine that place was bustling with people, filled with families. And like you look in that area now, like, there's a bunch of vacant lots. A lot of those 2-family flats are now abandoned and they're dilapidated. But then you also see some people who are buying these buildings and they're rehabbing them, and they're refurbishing these houses. And so the concern for a lot of them is like, I see these other people coming into the neighborhood and they're buying this shit up cheap and then they're putting it back on the market. And now my house, which is only worth $50,000, they put all this money into that house, and now they're selling that house for like $275,000. And I feel like I'm going to get priced out of my own neighborhood, right? And so, like, I guess the question the biggest question that I have is, not only the the racial makeup, like how the racial aspect plays into what makes a person a gentrifier, but also when we start talking about some of the improvements that happen into a neighborhood, right? So in many of our lower income areas, right? You've got people who live there who want better parks, who want street lights, who want more police presence, who want the roads to be paved like nicely, not all potholed up and shit. You know what I'm saying? Who want all of these things. But then at the same time, when some of these things start happening, right? Like, so yeah, they put up a new park over here. Oh shit, they cutting the grass over here. Oh damn, they putting speed bumps on here so motherfuckers can't speed up the block. And so when these things happen, suddenly like those same people who wanted these things get suspicious, right? They get suspicious. And it's not to say that they don't necessarily have a reason to be, but they get suspicious, and it's like they start wondering whether or not these improvements being made to this area have anything to do with the fact that are these improvements being made because I asked for them and I've been asking for them for a long time? Or are these improvements being made because I feel as though they feel like they about to move my ass up out of here, despite the fact that this is everything I know. I don't never want to leave this place. My mama gave me this house. This house been in the family for 80 fucking years, and it ain't leaving my hands. I ain't giving this place up, right? So I just kind of wonder about that. Like what constitutes a gentrifier? And not only what constitutes a gentrifier, but when are our concerns about gentrification maybe not warranted, right? I'm asking, and I hope to get some feedback on this. I'm asking, what makes a gentrifier, and what concerns of gentrification could be unfounded? And, especially when you think about some of the things, like I said, when it comes to neighborhood improvements, these are things that the people in the neighborhood have been asking for years anyway. And when these things started finally happening, whether or not they feel as though they're happening only because they feel like they're going to get moved out, or whether or not they're going to be able to stay and take advantage of those new gentrification or those new improvements in the neighborhood, right? So Yeah, man, hit me up with some information or hit me up with some feedback on that, because this is something I've been really thinking about a lot the past few weeks, man. Real talk. But that has been the news, and let's get on out of that. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
All right. Our first story here in Blue Blazes has to do with the one and only Erykah Badu, man. Erykah Badu was in Blue Blazes this week. And the reason why is Erykah says that she tested positive for the COVID in one nostril, but she tested negative for the COVID in another nostril. What? Yeah, man. So we get the story here. This comes out of peoplemagazine.com. It says that Erykah Badu is playing it safe. The singer, 49, announced on Friday that she was taking her third COVID-19 test in 24 hours after her previous 2 tests yielded conflicting results. Although one test, which used a swab from her left nostril, came back positive, a second test, which used a swab taken from her right nostril, was negative for the novel coronavirus. No symptoms, was tested for COVID, same machine, left nostril positive, right nostril negative. She wrote on Twitter, joking, maybe they need to call Swiss Beats so they can do a versus between them. We have to take those routine COVID tests to work on set, she added in another message. Due to the varying results, Badu had to take a third test, which was conducted at her home. This is my third rapid test in 24 hours, she wrote in another tweet, alongside a video that showed her waiting for the test results to come in. I'm at home. I'm doing a home COVID test. It is now November 13th, 2020, after Corona. After Corona, she joked in the video before adding that despite trying to keep it light, I'm actually really scared right now. Continuing, she said, if I actually have it, that means I'm going to have to shut down all of my shows and shit, quarantine. Fortunately for Badu, the third test came back negative. So I'm going to just say this right now, man, real talk. I'm just glad that we don't have to wait till the next lifetime to see Badu's next album. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that positive test came from the bag lady. You know what I'm saying? She'd have left that bag lady alone. We probably wouldn't even be hitting this story right now. Real talk. Maybe she touched a fucking 4-leaf clover or something, and that's why the third test came back negative. You know what I'm saying? I know Tyrone is like, man, nigga, did you see this shit? He talking to his boy right now. Tyrone like, man, did you see this shit? Nigga, you got out of that house right on time, nigga. Erykah got the COVID. Erykah got the COVID, dog. She kicked you out right on time, nigga. Now where that money for that beer, nigga? You still ain't came up with the money for the beer, nigga. Like, come on, bro. I see why she kicked you out. But yo, man, Erykah Badu, she said she tested positive for the COVID in one nostril, came out negative in another nostril, and she had to take a third test, man. It's crazy. Now, here's the thing, man. And this is something I was thinking about, man. So, we've been hearing stories now of people who haven't even gone to get tested, who are claiming to have been positive for the coronavirus, right? I'm starting to see this stuff happening, and it's mostly to get off of work, right? I'm seeing this at my job. Like, guys have been claiming to have, they can't trace it back to anything. They can't trace it back to the house or anything like that. Like, guys are like, and I don't want to like amplify this and make it sound like it's a rampant thing, but like, it's happening. Like, there's some people who are testing or aren't even testing and are claiming to be positive for COVID and haven't even been tested. I read a story about a pizza parlor where they had a worker claim to have been tested positive for COVID, and it turned out he was lying. And so many people decided because they had been in contact with that pizzeria, quarantine, because they thought that they may have come in contact with somebody who was COVID positive, right? So, it's kind of crazy the ways in which COVID is like ingrained itself in our lives in this way. But man, this is kind of weird. Like the fact that the test, you could test positive in one nostril and negative in another, man. That's crazy, man. First time I'm hearing anything about that, but that's in Blue Blazes, man. Real talk. Now, another story that we got here in Blue Blazes is something that I saw earlier in the week, and it actually had to do with some this other podcast. So Joe Budden has a podcast network now. And this podcast is called See the Thing Is. It's and it features 3 women on this podcast. I'm not familiar with them. I know one of them was on a season of Love and Hip Hop. I do know that. One of them, I can't think of her name right now. I'm sure it'll come up while we're watching this video. But they talked about, they were talking about grown men in video games, right? They can't understand why grown men are enamored with video games. And the conversation kind of took a little bit like, it was a bit jabby, man. They were taking some jabs at the fellas. And so I'm going to play a bit of this show. I'm just going to like kind of, respond a little bit to it. But let me pull this video up so you guys can watch here right along with me here in the chat room. And let me pull this up so you guys can watch along. And here we go. Let's see what
and then
about.
Watching people trample each other over a fucking PlayStation. And by the way, wait, we getting it? I didn't even mean to, but it just crossed my mind. Like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all grown ass men running around losing your minds over a PlayStation 5? It's called a PlayStation. Y'all are not that serious about doing nothing else. Y'all haven't been that serious about nothing or committed to nothing else.
I had a conversation with my mother, like literally yesterday. And she's like, I'm not on Facebook, so she always gives me the Facebook updates. And she's like, oh, I just see such and such. He get a play 5. What? A play 5. I don't know what it. I guess I reading all he comments because I'm like, was a play 5? And everybody's like, oh, where you get that? Oh, you the man. Oh, you such a great dad. Oh, like she's like going on till she could not grasp the concept of everybody going crazy over PS5.
I can't grasp. Wait, have y'all dated men that were into video games ever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but in my 20s,
I'll be honest with you. Not if I think of the top 10 best dicks I've ever had, they didn't play video games. So I'm convinced video games are for mediocre.
Well, I grew up as a gamer, so it was okay with it. That
like Shorty really just correlated like good sex with guys that play video games. Like she really did that. She's like, yo. That's funny. That's fucking funny, man.
That was quite all right with me. I got excited too.
I don't know what grown man is spending that much time playing video games.
There's a lot of grown men spending a lot of time.
And I don't think that they're
a lot.
I don't think that you could be a great partner or a great lover as a grown man spending time playing video games.
If you're like me and you're into gaming, I'll never forget when Ava was born. The new Grand Theft Auto drop with Nico Bellic, and like that was my escape, and that was our bonding time. We playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, you were shooting the prostitutes and then stealing their money back?
She was getting all the points.
We was getting homeless people.
She was hitting all the homeless people. She was
in Broker. We was fucking shit up in Broker City. You know, like, and between feeding, she's taking a nap. I'm on Vice. Like I'm. That's my Vice.
That's
yeah.
No, I mean, how many hours would you spend on that though? Like realistically,
4 to 6.
Wow, a whole work
day?
shift?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
It's a lot of missions.
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't want my man coming to me like, man, you won't believe the weapons I got today. No,
it's not even just that. It's not even just that. I'm gonna speak directly to the.
So hold up. So check this out. Oh shit, I didn't mean to mute it. I meant to pause it. But check this out. So I do like the NBA 2K thing, right? I do my mod player on NBA 2K. I try to get the motherfucker to look as close to me as possible there, but I'm never like quite successful at doing that. Especially like even with the face scan shit, right? Like I remember they did the face scan thing, like you could use your cell phone and it'll take a picture of your face and then they'll somehow like mold it into the player or whatever. And the shit never would come out right. I'd always come out looking like a goddamn alien or whatever the fuck, right? So I just like, all right, man, I'm gonna use this like these pre-modded fucking faces or whatever, and I'm gonna try to get this nigga to look as close to me as I possibly can with the shit that they already got on the game, right? And so like I would be like, dressing my dude up, you know what I'm saying? Like he got on the J's like I got on the J's, you know what I'm saying? He got on the motherfucking Chicago Bulls custom, Spann jersey the way that I got on the Chicago Bulls custom Spann jersey. He gonna look as close to me as I possibly can, right? And I can remember one day like my wife looking at me like as I was doing this shit, and she just like, nigga, for real? Like, nigga, for real? I'm like, yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it is like, you know, I don't even spend that much time on it, but it for me right now, like, yeah, this is me living my NBA dream vicariously through this fucking video game. I ain't harming nobody. I'm minding my own business. I'm in the comfort of my own home and shit. And I'm in my living room. I'm on the TV that I bought and whatever. I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, she kind of laughed at me or whatever, and it just made that little comment that this woman here just made about like the weapons and shit. You won't believe the weapons that I got. Like, she laughing at him. My wife was laughing at me, but you know, whatever.
Most of y'all are complete trash at 2K and Madden, and y'all are dying. Y'all are literally.
If you don't play games, if you don't like be around niggas that play games, then how do you know? Like, come on, sis. How do you know? You know, I think you just throwing unnecessary shots there, boo boo. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to be like that. That's not even called for right now. You ain't got to be like that. It's crazy.
Spending what should be saved in your account because we don't know next time we get a stimulus check. Y'all are spending y'all hard-earned stimulus money on a console, a game console, and y'all.
I haven't got a stimulus check this year. I'm sorry.
Y'all are trash. Y'all suck at sports in real life and at the video game. I'm so baffled by that.
They're living their careers through the game, sis.
Just watch your high school tapes. Like,
I'm old. They don't have tapes of my high school career. Okay? Nobody was there with the motherfucking camcorder during my high school career, all right? We had iPhones when I was playing high school basketball, all right? So let me get this fucking game, man. Let me play this fucking game. Let me input in the game, man. You know what I'm talking? I can't believe this shit, man. Like, they don't have to be this way. They really don't. You know? Fucking feelings hurt.
I don't understand. Like, I can't wrap my head around spending $600-$700 on a video game console.
I had to explain.
Okay, so she just said something there. I can't wrap my head around spending $600 or $700 on a video game console. All right, I'm gonna just say this here, man. I hate this battle of the sexist shit because it's whack, right? It is whack, man. Like, there's this thing, you know, and sometimes I'm guilty of it. I try hard not to be. Sometimes I get, especially with you iPhone niggas, man. I try to let y'all have y'all little yum, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I try, man. I'm trying hard, man. Like, he ain't through working with me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't through working with me. But she just said she can't understand why somebody would spend $500-$600 on a video game console, despite the fact that video game console may give that man hours and hours and hours of entertainment and interactive fun. You know what I'm saying? That game may give this motherfucker hours of like forgetting the bullshit that's going on at the job. That shit may give him hours and hours of forgetting whatever bullshit may be going on in said relationships or whatever, right? That game may be keeping this motherfucker from doing something crazy out, like, and I don't want to like blow it up that big, but like, yo, he could be doing some other shit out in the streets or whatever. But nah, this nigga at home playing Madden, he playing motherfucking NBA 2K, he playing fucking, you know, Call of Duty or whatever, playing like and acting like he know how the guns work and he never really shot the motherfuckers, you know, that kind of shit, right? But it's, to me, a man being excited about the prospect of getting a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X or S or any of these games, right, is the equivalent of a woman being excited about Beyonce dropping a surprise album that she ain't told nobody about, and you just, boom, that bitch is there, and you got to be on Tidal to get it. No different. Y'all excited in the motherfucker when that shit drop, right? And it's whack when niggas are like shitting on all these women that like are really getting a fucking life to listening to Beyonce, right? It's whack when niggas do that shit. It's whack when y'all do that shit. It's just whack, right? The same way for a long time, she's talking about like $600-$700 for a video game console. I couldn't understand for a long time. I couldn't understand dropping $500-$700 on a bag, right? For a long time, man. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what does it do? You know what I'm saying? Like that was my thing. Like, what does it do other than like, you know, you wear it, you carry it around for, you know, a couple of days, and then you put that bitch up and you grab another one. And you put that bitch up, and you know, like that was, but it's not for me. It's not for me. And so I understood that it's not for me, but someone enjoys it, right? Someone enjoys it. That's their thing. So you may not necessarily understand that dudes enjoy playing video games. And they also tried to put this shit off as like, yo, he's a grown ass man. What grown ass man want to sit around and play video games? Hey, man, you're talking to grown ass men who grew up their whole lives, and this is just kind of what they did to pass the time. I mean, I got video games. I got a bunch of video games. I got an Xbox One. I got an Xbox Series S. I got a PlayStation 4. I got Google Stadia. I got a fucking Retron 5 that plays Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, Sega Genesis, some other shit, Game Boy Advance games and shit. I don't even get to play them motherfuckers half the time because I'm like, hell, well, I'm talking to y'all right now. I could be playing video games, right? I work usually 10 hours a day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And so, although I don't get a chance to play my games as much as I would like to play my games, yo, I'm going to play games when I have the time to do that. So, like, to shit on, like, the idea of grown men enjoying a hobby that may or may not necessarily include you, I think it's just kind of whack. And I think it's some bullshit battle of the sexist stuff. Is whack when dudes do it, when y'all are excited about Birkin bags or any sort of like handbags or whatever. Is whack when y'all are excited about Beyonce dropping a new album. Is whack when dudes are talking about y'all being excited about Beyonce dropping the Ivy Park Adidas shit. And I seen it all up and down my timeline. Women were excited about being able to cop them some gear. And that's great that they were able to cop themselves some gear, and they were excited about copping themselves some gear. It's the same fucking thing. It ain't rocket science. This shit ain't that hard to understand. Shh. Let people enjoy things. That's all this really is, man. That's all this really is. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Real talk. But yeah. Yo, that's in Blue Blazers, man. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazers is Michael B. Jordan, man, he's been named People Magazine's sexiest man alive.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man. So we get this story here, and CBS News. Is there a video to this? No, there isn't. Okay. So CBS News reports that People Magazine has named Michael B. Jordan sexiest man alive. It says actor Michael B. Jordan has been crowned as 2020 sexiest man alive by People Magazine. Jordan, known for his critically acclaimed performances in Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther, was revealed as this year's winner Tuesday night on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live. The actor appeared on the late night talk show dressed in a yellow biohazard suit. He revealed his identity after removing his helmet, which had a smiley face. He said he learned about the honor during a call from his publicist while driving with a friend. He's sexy. He's alive, Kimmel said, as Jordan was given a mirror so he could look at himself. Ahead of the big reveal, Kimmel had fans call in to ask yes or no questions to find out who he might be, and one person guessed correctly. Jordan tells the magazine in an issue out Friday that the honor is a cool feeling. You know, everybody always made that joke, like, Mike, this is one thing you're probably not going to get, he said, but it's a good club to be a part of. Other recent winners include John Legend, Dwayne Johnson, Chris Hemsworth, Idris Elba, Adam Levine, Channing Tatum, and David Beckham. Jordan is the 35th celebrity to receive the honor since the annual campaign started in 1985. You mean to tell me I'm older than this whole fucking campaign? This is some bullshit, man. Bullshit. Mel Gibson won the shit when he was 29. But you know what, man? I got this to say, man. You know, shout out to Michael B. Jordan for being, named People Magazine's sexiest man alive. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull up his pictures and shit from the whole thing, because the brother look good, man. The brother look good. Hold on, let me pull this up. Let me see. People Magazine sexiest man alive. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this up. Let's check out Michael B. Jordan, man, in this cover, man, because the brother deserves his kudos, man. The brother deserves his kudos, and we ain't haters here at the Spann Report podcast, man. We ain't haters at all, man. Let's check this brother out, man. Hold on, let me pull this video up. Let me pull this picture up so y'all can watch. Y'all can see right along with your man Spann, man. All right, let me do this here. All right, let's look at that picture, man. Let's look at that. Oh shit. That ain't it. That's a whole ass article. I'm looking for the pictures, man. Okay, so we y'all can see the picture over here, right? It's probably small. Let me see if I can pull it. I can blow this up. Let's see. Let's go here. All right. Okay, so this is the People magazine article itself. Okay, cool. Now we just got to, this motherfucker just needs to load the fuck up. All right. Okay. I said, okay. Yo, Comcast showing his ass. Okay, so here we go, man. Check him out, man. He got the he got the little fist up to the chin and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? He got the little classic look, man. He going real classic on us, man, for real. Check him out. All right. Dig that. Hold up. I seen this look somewhere before, though. Hold up. Yeah. See, check this out. So okay, so Michael B. Jordan right now is giving us throwback. Okay, what I'm saying? I like this, you know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes the throwback, sometimes the classic don't necessarily get, the kudos it deserves, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the real thick mustache going on right there. You know what I'm saying? Looking real Steve Harvey-ish right now. It's cool, man, because he wearing it a whole lot better than Steve Harvey could ever wear it. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the Whispers vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, rock steady, you know what I'm saying? Steady rocking all night long with that mustache, bro. I'm saying it, right? It's rocking. It's rocking. It's like bam, it's just there and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just there, like bam. I'm seeing Lester Jenkins. Y'all remember Lester Jenkins from 227? Oh man, Lester Jenkins used to rock that mustache too, bro. Like I like that he went there. You know what I'm saying? I like that he went there, man. I think it's risk taking. You know what I'm saying? That's how you become the sexiest man alive, bro. Like you got to be able to take those type of risks, man. And I like that he was able to take that risk, man. Because your man Spann couldn't get away with that shit, man. I couldn't get away with that shit. I mean, my mustache grows thick. That's about the only thing on my face that grows thick. Because my beard would be leaving me my beard be leaving me hanging, bro. My beard be leaving me hanging. I can't grow one anyway for the job and shit. But I'm just saying, if I wanted one, I couldn't really do it. You know what I'm saying? My beard be leaving me hanging. But he got the Whispers / Lester Jenkins / Steve Harvey look, and it works for him. It works for him, man. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, man. Motherfucking People magazine, sexiest man alive, man. Real talk. Shout out to that brother, man. Real talk. Big fan of Michael B. Jordan, man. I love the Creed movies. Black Panther is one of my favorite movies. Fruitvale Station, the man was like, that he became Oscar Grant, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like you kind of grow up with some of these people, man. I remember him when he was Wallace, you know what I'm saying, on The Wire and shit, man. When he was like real scrawny and shit, and he had the braids or whatnot, and he was talking about like the chicken nuggets and whatnot, man. For real, man. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, man. Real talk. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazers is Will Smith and Janet Hubert have finally been able to sit down and talk, and they have, believe it or not, buried the motherfucking hatchet, yo. All right, so we get this story here. This comes out of we get this shit from YouTube. So let me see. This is video. Let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right on with me. All right, let's see what they're talking about here.
I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
Everything was a threat to me.
Why was I a threat?
Not you, the world. I was so driven by fear and jokes and comedy and all of that.
Yeah, you were live. You were live. But what you didn't realize either, that I was going through a lot at home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You didn't know. You guys didn't know. Very abusive marriage.
I have children.
Yeah.
I've been divorced and got a second marriage, and I can see now the level of pain and the level of struggle that it was for you just to show up every day. And then.
But you took all that away from me.
Mm-hmm.
With your words. Words can kill.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost everything. Reputation, everything. And I understand you were able to move forward, but those words, calling a Black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kiss of death. And it's hard enough being a dark-skinned Black woman in this business. But I felt it was necessary for us to finally
move forward.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I have blasted you to pieces.
No, it is so. First of all, thank you for sharing that with me. Like, I didn't know that. When I look back now, it's it's obvious that you were having a hard time, and I felt like you hated me. I could not do a 30-year celebration of this show and not celebrate you. Celebrate your contribution to this show, celebrate your contribution to my life, and
Come here, you.
Yo, man. Yo, listen. That's dope. That's fucking dope, man. One of the things I took from that was that you hope to get to a point where the people you wronged or the people you feel may have wronged you can come to a point in their life where you can sit down and have a genuine conversation and lay this shit bare and come to an understanding, come to a realization, come to a resolution to the issues that may have happened between the two of you. These people have been mad at each other for the better part of 27 odd years, man. And truthfully speaking, I can't say that I would have ever thought that I would have seen those two come together in the ways in which they have, especially considering some of the videos that we've seen on social media over the last few years, especially considering like some of the other cast members and their feelings about Janet Hubert concerning some of the things that she said over the course of the last few years on some of those videos. While she was blasting Will Smith, she was also blasting Alfonso Ribeiro and things of that nature. And so for them to be able to come to an understanding, to come to a level of agreement, to come to a level of reconciliation, I think is dope, man. Like I'm never one of those people who will like kind of shit on anybody who's like, yo, man, I just kind of want to get past this. You know what I'm saying? Like we've spent so much time being mad at each other. And sometimes you can be mad at someone. You can be mad at someone and forget the reason why you even upset with them. Right? And so like to be able to witness both Janet Hubert and Will Smith come together in this way, I think not only, we all talk about growth. These are growth goals to me. To be able to come and like to be able to sit down with someone you've had vehement disagreements with, to be able to sit down with someone who said some foul shit about you, to be able to sit down with someone and hash those things out and reconcile in a way in which like you buried those hatchets. There's no hard feelings going forward, man. I think that's dope, man. I think that's dope. And I don't know, like, maybe it's like, your man Spann getting a little older or whatever else, but I see the value in that in ways that I probably wouldn't have seen the value in that probably 10 or 15 years ago, right? So, like, I tend to personalize things on this show quite a bit. I tend to talk about some of the ways in which I can relate with some of the stories that we talk about on this show, some of the issues that we talk about. I tend to relate those things to some of the things that happen in my own personal life. And one of the things that I can relate this to is I wish, excuse me, that I could have had a moment like that with my own father. I wish we could have had a sit down where I could I could lay everything bare to that man. And I wish that he could have he could say how he felt or how he thought he dealt with being a father or lack thereof to me in a conversation. Like, we never had that conversation. We never had it. And the last conversation I had with my father was me cussing him the fuck out. And it happened on YouTube, of all places, right? Me cussing him the fuck out, like laying it bare, like laying my whole shit bare on YouTube. That's how it happened. That was the last time I talked to that man, and it happened 11 years ago. And then we're never going to have it now because he passed away about 5 or 6 years ago. And so, like, letting go of, like, sort of like, understanding like, yo, he could never be the father to me that I needed him to be. Right? Could never be that. But for us to have a level of understanding was what I really wanted out of the whole thing. And so you kind of have to let go of that animosity for your own growth, for your own, like, fucking healing, so to speak. And you learn the lessons of what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you learn the lessons of what not to do from those sorts of situations. You try to learn from that. So I look at my relationship with my father and as a tool to, these are the things you don't want to do as a dad, because these are the things that were done to you. And these were the things that you hated that your father did. Right? And so, like, for Will Smith and Janet Hubert to be able to come together, have a conversation, lay their shit bare, and reconcile from that, I think it's beautiful, man. I think it's beautiful. And as we get old, like, everybody talks about no new friends, everybody talk about how they don't forgive, and like it's real cool to say that shit on fucking social media or whatever, right? And I'm guilty of it. Like, especially when we start talking about Trump supporters and shit. Like, right now, you can't talk to me as a Trump supporter. I'm just sorry. I can't do it. Fuck y'all. That's where I'm at right now. And I hope at a certain point that some of the people who felt that was a thing to do would see the error of their ways. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. But eventually, as time passes, you hope that people can start seeing some of the mistakes that they may have made. I can start seeing some of the mistakes that maybe I have made during the course of this time. And we have those conversations. And, it's not to say that once you have that conversation that the relationship is going to be restored. That's not to say that at all. But to be able to do that, to be able to have that conversation, I think is dope. And I think, truthfully speaking, those conversations need to be had on I think they need to happen more. Not only between these celebrities and everything else, but between some of the interpersonal relationships that you may have with your family, or the interpersonal relationships you may have with your friends or whatever else, man. Like, I think these sorts of conversations are sorely needed. And because we are at a point now, especially with social media, where, like, you could just cut a motherfucker off, bro. Like, I unfriend you, I unfollow you, I no longer see you as a part of my life anymore. That person has been banished, right? Because of the way social media has kind of helped program us in that way. We no longer seek these conversations. We no longer seek that sort of reconciliation. We no longer even try to have it. We just banish people now. Or what, cancel culture and all of the other shit. Like, we just kind of cancel motherfuckers out of our lives. Like, man, fuck you. I ain't got to talk to you. I ain't never got to deal with you. I live in a totally different state from you. I ain't got to see your ass. All that other shit. But that's just, like I said, man, I think that it was dope that Will Smith and Janet Hubert got together in that way. And I think that 30th anniversary of the Fresh Prince is available now on HBO Max, man. So go check that out if and when you get the chance, man. Real talk. But that has been Blue Blazes.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
But check it out, y'all. We about to do something we ain't did in a while.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right. It's Lose Your Job time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. And some people out here playing the game. They didn't even know they was playing. They losing their jobs out here like flapjacks, man. They're just over here all fucked up, man. Real talk. So we're going to get to this. Let me pull up my Lose Your Job shit. And yo, man. So first story in Lose Your Job is Georgia officials have officially certified the election results, showing that Joe Biden won that motherfucker, dog.
Got him. Got him.
Yeah, man. So we get the story here. This comes out of the Associated Press. It says the Georgia's governor and top elections official on Friday certified the results showing Joe Biden won the presidential race over Republican President Donald Trump, bringing the state one step closer to wrapping up an election fraught with unfounded accusations of fraud by Trump and his supporters. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger certified results reported by the state's 159 counties that show Biden with 2.47 million votes, President Donald Trump with 2.46 million votes, and Libertarian Joe Jorgensen with 62,138 votes. That leaves Biden leading by a margin of 12,670 votes, or 0.25%. Later Friday, Governor Brian Kemp certified the state's slate of 16 presidential electors. In an announcement streamed online, Kemp did not clearly endorse the results. Instead, he said the law requires him to formalize the certification, which paves the way for Trump campaign. Oh, man. Brian Kemp mad about it, man. The motherfucker. Oh, man. I'm going to get to that. Instead, he said that the law requires him to formalize the certification, which paves the way for the Trump campaign to pursue other legal options and a separate recount if they choose. Oh, my God. The Republican governor hasn't stepped forward to defend the integrity of this year's elections amid attacks by Trump and other members of his own party without claim without evidence that the presidential vote in Georgia was tainted by fraud. Kemp has neither endorsed Trump's fraud claims nor backed Raffensperger, a fellow Republican, in his assertion that the election was conducted fairly. Now, here's the thing, man. Here's what I think is rich about the entire thing. Brian Kemp, who ran for governor as the presiding Secretary of State against Stacey Abrams, questioning the validity of the, or even like the talking about this, I have to do this as it is legally bound for Georgia state law. I have to do this. However, President Donald Trump is open to pursue any legal ramifications he may want to in order to get the results the way he wants. Like it's rich as shit, bruh. Here's the thing: Republicans feel as though Republicans feel as though these Democrats got to be cheating because we've been cheating the whole fucking time, and the only way they could have won is to be cheating because we've been cheating since cheating been cheating. This is what's so rich about it. They've been gerrymandering fucking districts. They've been purging people from voter rolls. They got these fucking signature fucking exact match things that they got going on. I believe that happens in Georgia. They've been like trying to get, felons, keep them off to the voting rolls and shit. Like they've been doing all sorts of shit to keep people from voting. And the fact that they've had so many people come out and were activated and were motivated, it overwhelmed the system, much like Stacey Abrams told motherfuckers to do. Shout out to that sister. But they overwhelmed the system so much that all of the cheating in the world that the Republicans tried to institute could not save them from the level of disdain that people have for this administration. Now, it doesn't make sense that you talk about not certifying the election, especially considering, and this is happening all over the country, but if Donald Trump loses this election and yet fucking people like Mitch McConnell somehow got reelected, and motherfuckers like what's my man name? Lindsey Graham got reelected. You know, like you got people like that. They got reelected on the same ballot that people were voting against Donald Trump. Like they all on the same ballot, baby. They all on the same ballot, baby. Like you can't, like, you know, you can't really, you can't. It don't make sense, man. It ain't adding up. It ain't adding up, man. So, like, the idea that Brian Kemp had the audacity to be on there talking about some, well, I got to do this because the law says I have to. But if the law didn't stipulate that he had to, he wouldn't do it. Oh, man. You talk about rich nigga? You talk about rich nigga. Like, come on, bruh. Come on, man. Like, they out here, man. They out here to try to steal elections, and they know because they've been doing it. They think that because we've been out here cheating, that means because the Democrats won here, they had to have been cheating to overcome our cheating. Either way, man, Donald Trump is so close to. You about to lose, don't try. Yeah, man, it's coming, nigga. It's coming. It's on your ass, bitch. It's on your ass, nigga. Oh man, that's in Lose Your Job. Another story that we got here in Lose Your Job, man, is so some dude got into an Uber, started talking shit to the driver in the Uber, started talking racial shit to the driver in the Uber, and his job then apparently decided, like, you know what? We gonna kick your ass up out of the paint too. You ain't got no job no more either, nigga. God damn! Yeah, man, there's video of this. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch it right along with me here in the chat room. Let me go ahead and do that. Let's see what they're talking about. This comes out of the New York Post. So, you know, sometimes, you know, the New York Post be on some bullshit. But they got video here, so we're gonna go ahead and watch it as soon as the shit loads up. All right. Let me go ahead and maximize this here. All right, Comcast, let's go ahead and play this video. See, let's act like I'm paying y'all money and shit. You know, yeah. I don't want y'all to give me no notifications, nigga. I just need y'all to play the video. Just play the video. Here we go.
That's what you are. You're a fucking sand. You. Yeah.
Film him saying that. Continue saying that.
What's a sand? Do you know what a sand is?
Joe?
Do you know what a sand is? Because I do.
Joe, stop. I'm videoing. Stop. Stop. I'm videoing. You stop.
I know.
Why is she videoing? Y'all the motherfucking aggressors, man. Why is she videoing? Like, this is crazy. Like, you are in the fuck. Clearly, like, you with a racist dude. He's saying some racist shit to some man of color. And you talking about you videoing? He's, you know what, man? It don't even gotta make sense. He's saying "fuck sand nigger." That's what he's saying. They keep beeping this shit, but that's what he's saying.
Yeah. I got your license plate.
You got his license plate for what?
You should
for
never
what?
drive Lyft again.
You should
No,
never
you
drive.
will
Lyft
never.
again.
You will never drive. Yeah. You will never drive.
Are you happy now?
No.
By calling people.
No, we expected a Lyft drive home. That's what we expected.
Just put on your mask.
Hey, hold on.
Gosh.
Hold on. You're just a fucking stupid idiot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You feel good?
You.
You feel good now?
Do you feel good?
Do you feel good? Here, hold on. I'll feel better when I piss in here. Let me piss in your car.
Go ahead, do it.
Hold on, I'm gonna piss in your car.
Do it.
Do you feel better?
Yeah, I'm not. You stupid.
Do you feel good? Do you feel good?
As you're recording, record him saying too, okay?
Do you good?
His name is Joe. Thank you so
feel
much.
Good?
Have a
Do
good
you
night.
feel good?
Have a good night.
10:01.
All right. So yeah, yeah, so she's talking about, yo, we expected a ride home. And we're gonna read the story here because there's a bit of a backstory here, of course. It doesn't just like start there. There's a bit of a backstory. So we're gonna read the story. Like I said, this comes out of the New York Post. It says the man who was caught on video hurling racist comments at a Lyft driver in Washington State has been fired from his job. What the fuck? All right, let's close that. It says a video of the Tuesday night encounter in Issaquah shows the man identified as Joe lashing out at the driver, David Kangogo, after he told him to put his mask back on. What's a sand nigger? Do you know what a sand nigger is? The man asked Kangogo outside of the car, because I do. Kangogo, filmed the incident and repeatedly asked Joe and his female companion to put on their masks, but they continued spewing racial slurs at him. The driver told Newsweek the incident left him literally shaking. Wilbur Ellis, an agricultural tech firm, confirmed to the Post that Joe was an employee and that he's been fired. The employee has been terminated effective immediately, the company said in a statement. The quick and decisive action we took demonstrates that racism in any form will not be tolerated by our company. Lyft told the Post earlier that the man was permanently banned from using the service. And not only was he fired from his job, he can no longer use Lyft. But here's the thing, man. So you've got people who, again, we start talking about the politicization of the coronavirus and shit. You've got people who feel as though like wearing a mask is a violation of their rights and all this other shit, despite the fact that like, yo, man, you clearly the rules state if you go get in a Lyft or an Uber or on an airplane or whatever, listen, man, you're going to be in a car with somebody, you got to wear a mask. It's just sort of it's a thing. You got to do it. He's not required to continue to drive your ass in his car any fucking where if you don't abide by the rules in his fucking car. It's his car, man. You need the ride. Can you imagine like somebody like, yo, getting in your ride and telling you, hey, man, I don't really like Tupac in this. I don't really like Tupac like that, man. You can't be playing Tupac in this car. Like, nigga, do you pay the note on this motherfucker or do I? Because I like Tupac, nigga. I'm going to listen to Tupac. Like, nigga, who the fuck are you? As a matter of fact, man, get the fuck out. That's essentially what this mask shit is, man. That's essentially what this is. You don't dictate the rules to anybody in their own shit. He's using his car to provide you a service. You either abide by the rules in his car or get the fuck out. That's it. That's it. You can be mad about it. You can call them all the sand niggas and shit you want, but now you lost your job because you called them a sand nigga. Like, imagine how many, like either Middle Eastern or Indian people you may like work with and shit who are now privy to this video, and now you a problem at the job. You a problem because now they like, hey, man, this guy, man, I don't know if I feel comfortable working with this motherfucker, man. He on some bullshit, So, yeah, man, he lost his job. Another story that we got here in Lose Your Job, man, is so there was a sheriff in what county was this? Hamilton County, Ohio. There was a sheriff in Hamilton County, Ohio, Republican in Hamilton County, Ohio, and he fired a deputy because she was a lesbian. God damn! But she's not the person who we're talking about here. Well, actually, we kind of are, but she's not the one we're talking about losing their job. Because after he fired her, she ran against him in the next election to become the county's next sheriff. And she fucking won. We get the story here. This comes out of LGBTQ Nation. It says Charmaine McGuffey is going to be the new sheriff for Hamilton County, Ohio. She defeated Bruce Hoffenbauer, her Republican opponent, in the general election with 52% of the vote. McGuffey made headlines when she announced her decision to run for sheriff. She was challenging her former boss, Jim Neal, in the Democratic primary. Oh, dig that. So it wasn't even the Republican who fucked with her. Okay. Shout out to the motherfuckers who know that all allies ain't really allies. All right. It says McGuffey made headlines to Jim Neal in the Democratic primary. Neal had fired her, McGuffey alleged, because she's an out lesbian. McGuffey easily defeated him with approximately 70% of the vote, getting sweet revenge. Both McGuffey and Hoffbauer were lifelong law enforcement candidates. McGuffey promised responsibility and accountability with people of color if she won the election. Hoffbauer claimed he would have removed himself and been the law enforcement executive. See, that's where you fucked up. That's where you fucked up. If you go, you got Donald Trump out here talking about the police, knocking motherfuckers upside the head, all this other shit, I'm gonna be your law and order president, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man, because we know what that shit really means, man. We know what that shit really means. Y'all gonna be violating the civil rights of a whole bunch of people that don't look like y'all. We know what the shit means, and it cost you a motherfucking election. Y'all gonna stop acting like the Republicans have given themselves so heartily to Donald Trump is pathetic, but Yeah, it got them just desserts. It says McGuffey also made a point to be proud of her identity during the campaign, even touching on it in political ads. My election will mean that our country is moving forward, that we really have moved away from the 1950s model of law enforcement, where not just women are embracing the law enforcement world, but also LGBTQ members of the community can wear a uniform and be quite successful. So, yo, man, shout out to that woman. And she's the new sheriff of Hamilton County, Ohio. And yo, that has been Lose Your Job.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right, but y'all know what time it is.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right, that's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American. Time to hit the Spann Report podcast, man. And our first story here in the Spann Report podcast, proud to be an American segment, is Chuck Schumer, man. So Chuck Schumer has been talking about President-elect Joe Biden, and he's been talking about some of the things that President-elect Joe Biden can do once he becomes president of the United States. And so one of the first things Chuck Schumer was talking about was the possibility that Joe Biden could actually forgive up to $50,000 of student loan debt per person with student loan debt with an executive order.
God damn!
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and read the story. We get this out of CNBC.com. It says, in a recent interview with Anand Girahandas, I hope I'm not fucking that name up. Girahand. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Anand Girahandas. If I'm fucking that up, please somebody correct me in like the feedback and shit. It says Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer suggested that President-elect Joe Biden should use significant student loan forgiveness through an executive order describing a possible FDR-style agenda during Biden's first 100 days. I have a proposal with Elizabeth Warren that the first $50,000 of debt be vanquished, says Schumer, and we believe that Joe Biden can do that with the pen as opposed to legislation. Schumer also mentioned policies to address climate change, wealth inequity, immigration reform, and criminal justice reform. It's a big, bold agenda, he said. My job is to get as much of that passed and get the votes for it, which obviously is not something I can snap my fingers and do. Biden has not yet issued support for such significant student loan forgiveness. Instead, the president-elect has proposed creating a program that offers $10,000 of undergraduate or graduate student debt relief for every year of national or community service up to 5 years. According to the proposal, individuals working in schools, government, or other nonprofit settings will be automatically enrolled in this forgiveness program. Up to 5 years of prior national or community service will also qualify. So I'm gonna just say this right now, man. I got about $8,000 left of student loan debt, man. Been paying the shit down. I can't wait. I already paid one loan off. I'm down to that last loan, man. That last $7,800, man. I swear I can't wait till that shit is like dead and gone, man. Real talk. Be done with them. Be done with that. And had that damn debt since I was like 19 years old, 18 years old, right? Excuse me. But I don't know why the damn camera won't stay in focus and shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on with it. I might need to get me a new webcam. So I saw some pushback to this on social media. I saw some pushback to this when it came to not only coming from the right, I saw some pushback coming from some people on the left or some people who would consider themselves moderates about the fact that they think that this is sort of like a debt, this is like a giveaway. We can't fix the nation like with these giveaways, man. Just throwing money at the situation and all this other stuff. It's like it's actually not throwing money at the situation. It's like, yo, letting people keep money in their own pockets, right? And so, like, one of the things that like keeps coming up with this, it keeps coming up with student loan forgiveness is the idea that, like, yo, I went to college, I took out student loans, I paid my student loans off, and it is unfair for you to be able to have your loans forgiven and not pay that shit all up because I paid my shit all up. And I don't think you should be able to get some debt forgiveness because I wasn't able to get some debt forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? It's real myopic, right? And I'm going to just say this, man. And I think I've talked about this on the show a time or two before. But like being against student loan forgiveness at this particular point, especially some of you motherfuckers who went to school in the 80s or the 70s and shit, when like student loan debt wasn't as high or ubiquitous as it is now. Like it's like the amounts that some people have in student loan debt is fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Also, the cost of living hasn't kept the wages haven't kept up with the cost of living over the course of the last 30 years. So you've got people who are out here with college degrees and shit who aren't making the money that their college degree was supposed to promise them that they would be making, right? So, like, you having paid your student loan debt off because you were able to get into a job that was allowing you to pay that debt off, cool, like, great. Bravo, nigga. Bravo. That happened for you. That was wonderful. But everybody hasn't been so fortunate to have that happen for them, right? I'm a fucking pipe fitter. You think I went to like college to become a pipe fitter? No. Now, being a pipe fitter has actually been pretty good for you, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I ain't complaining about my compensation whatsoever. It's been pretty good. However, I didn't go to school for that shit. I never saw myself doing the shit that I'm doing right now as like that was gonna be my job. Like, I never saw that shit. I never saw this for me. Like, real talk, I never saw my current occupation as the thing that I would be doing and it would allow for me to be doing some of the things that I'm doing right now. I saw myself as probably like, I don't know, a lawyer or some shit, wearing a suit and tie to work every day, not being a blue collar nigga getting down and dirty and in the dirt. Sometimes having an awkward conversation with somebody telling them, hey man, could you clean those feces away from the water heater so I can relight this motherfucker? I didn't see myself doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see people talking about the possibility that student loans could be forgiven, the first thing I think off top, man, you's a fucking hater. A hater of the highest order, right? Because, like, you seem to be against progress or any level of progress. Anybody seeming to have any sort of level of I don't know, advancement in time as it relates to you, right? You being against student loan debt forgiveness right now is like, to me, it looks to me to be the equivalent of me being upset with any breast cancer research or breakthrough or advancement in treatment because my mother is no longer here to take advantage of the shit. My mother was 37, died at 37 in 1997. She can't take advantage of any of these advancements that they've made in the fight against breast cancer. How dare I say to, like, well, because my mom couldn't take advantage of this shit, therefore your mother shouldn't be able to take advantage of this shit either. You look at me like I was a fucking fool, and rightfully so. It's much the same way as like somebody who may have lost their money in the banking industry, like back in the 40s and shit, being mad that my motherfucking bank deposits are being insured by the FDIC. And I'm insured up to, I forget how much the amount is, but my money's insured in the bank some sort of way with the FDIC. But you got some old motherfucker talking about something like, yo, man, well shit, my money wasn't insured. Why should their money be insured? The fuck out of here, man. Like, yo, we recognize that this is some shit that was fucked up. We fixed it. And so now everybody should be able to take advantage of the solution. Right? That would be like me being upset with my daughter because my daughter's first time playing video games was with a PlayStation 2. Right? And I came up with an Atari 2600. How dare my daughter be able to look at the graphical prowess of a PlayStation 2 compared to my fucking less than 8-bit Atari 2600. I'm looking at polygons that like not even like real polygons. It's just like boxes, like globs of boxes on the screen and shit with my joystick and one button on the controller. Meanwhile, my daughter was looking at fucking whole ass open world exploration and shit on Grand Theft Auto or something. And I'm upset about it. Fuck out of here, man. So yeah, I kind of feel as though like those of you who will be against student loan forgiveness at this particular point in time, y'all are grade A fucking haters. And truthfully speaking, I just want to tell y'all, man, don't be a hater all your life, man. You can shed that hate out your blood, bro. You ain't got to be that way all your whole life. You ain't got to be like that. That's whack. Much like, you know, the whole gender war shit can sometimes be whack. You hating against the possibility that people can be able to take advantage of a possible student loan forgiveness is whack. And so, yeah, man, that's proud to be an American. Another story that we got here and proud to be an American, man, is that like 7 in 10 Republicans believe that the 2020 election was neither free nor fair.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
We get this from morningconsult.com. It says 7 in 10 Republicans said that the 2020 election was not free and fair. 48% of Republicans say it was definitely not free and fair, and another 22% say it probably was not. That's twice the share of Republicans who said the race would not be fair and free and fair just before the election. Republicans are most skeptical of the Pennsylvania results. Just 23% of Republican voters say they believe the results in the Keystone State were reliable, and no more than 3 in 10 say the same about the results in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Wisconsin. Basically, all states that fucking Donald Trump lost. Okay? All states that Donald Trump lost. Additionally, there even for states like Texas and Florida, where Trump is projected to win safely, Democrats are more likely than Republicans to say that the results are reliable. Overall, trust in elections plummets among Republicans. Prior to the election, 68% of GOP voters said that they had at least some trust in the U.S. election system. Post-election, that dropped to 34%. Democratic trust, meanwhile, jumped from 66% to 78%. So check this out. What doesn't really make sense about this entire thing is that in many of these places, there are like the legislatures are controlled by Republicans. You look at the Republican governor and Secretary of State in Georgia. You look at the Republican, I believe they have a Republican governor and Secretary of State in Arizona. You have a Republican, I believe a Republican. You know what? I'm not going to even like speculate on that. I'm not sure what the makeup is in Pennsylvania. I know we have a Democratic governor and Secretary of State here in Michigan, and I'm not sure. I'm in Texas. We know is a Republican stronghold, but it's not making sense in the sense that like, yo, the only thing that they feel is free and fair is whether or not it falls in their favor. And as we talked about this here on the show earlier, they feel as though it's got to be cheating because we've been cheating the whole time, right? Republicans feel like, yo, we've been cheating this whole time. So in order for them to beat us, they got to be cheating. This is the mantra that they've gone with. And also Donald Trump has been feeding them this shit, this constant loop of the elections is rigged unless I win. Since 2016, he's been saying this shit since 2016. They've been primed for a long time to believe this shit. Facts be damn. Couple that with the fact that we've got our own like social media sort of bubbles and stuff like that. We get our news from our own little ecosystems and shit like that, man. We talked about this last week about, you know, like a lot of conservatives are now looking for their safe space on social media. We're going to that parlor shit. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten to a point where we don't even get our news from the same sources anymore. We siphon off the people. We banish people that we don't fuck with. We banish them to, you know, all right, I don't fuck with them. They don't fuck with me. I'm going to get with my tribe and we're going to commiserate on the shit that we believe to be true, whether it's true or not, whether it's based in reality or not. And truthfully, whether you on the right or the left, you believe all your shit is true. You believe your perspective to be true, right? I'm not blind to that fact. But the fact that 7 in 10 Republicans, while they have power, think about that for a second. While they have power, are telling themselves that the reason they lost this election is because the election wasn't free and clear. It's crazy. Crazy. So yeah, man, that's proud to be an American. Another thing that's in proud to be an American, and this kind of speaks to the distrust of like the government and all this other shit too, but nearly two-thirds of Detroit residents say that they are unlikely to get a COVID vaccine once one is made available, man.
Got him! Got him!
That was actually the wrong one. I kind of want to go to, fuck it. We're going to go to clickondetroit.com. It says a new study from the University of Michigan is raising an alarm after it found a majority of Detroit residents don't think that they'll choose to receive a COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available. According to the study, nearly two-thirds of Detroiters say that they are unlikely to get a coronavirus vaccine, and those numbers grow among some of the hardest hit communities in the region. From those from the Hispanic or Latinx communities were twice as likely to say they wouldn't get the vaccine compared to white responders. For Black Detroiters, that number is 4 times higher. Health experts who authored the study say the results are due to high levels of distrust in the government, doctors, and news throughout these communities. The survey ran between October 14th and 28th prior to the presidential election. The news of the study shook Detroiter Alfonso May, whose mother Carolina passed just 3 weeks after the contradicting the virus. And I believe there was video, there was a firefighter, and that's who Alfonso May is. But so here's the thing. I got to say this. I'm not necessarily surprised by the results of this particular poll or the survey, because we had our own poll here at the Spann Report, and we asked people earlier this summer. I want to say this is back when I was at home during the COVID like lockdowns and stuff, or shutdowns, so to speak. And I asked people whether or not they would be willing to take a COVID vaccine once one was made available, way back in I want to say May. I asked this question, and most people decided they would not be open to receiving a vaccination. And there was a lot of mitigating circumstances and stuff, right? In the poll didn't necessarily reflect all of the mitigating circumstances that people were talking about. So most people just voted no because they had these mitigating things that they were thinking about. And I know with Black people, we had this thing where, history kind of shows us where we were experimented on, man. You think about Henrietta Lacks, you think about the Tuskegee experiments and things of that nature. And so Black people are already distrustful of the government as is. Then you add to that the fact that this particular government, especially Donald Trump being, president of the United States, and the aversion that Black people have with Donald Trump being in charge of anything, and whether or not they would embrace anything that Donald Trump has endorsed and put that in their own bodies. There's a big distrust of that. And then on top of that, the erosion of the trust that people have with the media. You get your media or you get your news from certain sources now. Even this is not back in the day when you could just sit up and watch fucking Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, or Sam Donaldson. You know what I'm saying? You got your news from MSNBC. I'm sorry, not even MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS. That's what most folks got their evening news. And then you had your local affiliates and shit, right? We're so far past that to where now you get your news from Vox, you get your news from Newsmax, you get your news from Fox News, you get your news from Fox Nation, you get your news from MSNBC or CNN. There's so many different ways for you to get news. Then you got blogs. Then you got podcasts. Then you got Sirius XM radio. Then you got talk radio. You got all these different avenues. And now you can just siphon you just in this little cocoon of your own information. And so it doesn't surprise me that so many people, especially minorities, are distrustful of a possible vaccine. The thing is, these are the communities that may need it the most. These are the communities that are being the hardest hit. You know what I'm saying? Some of us I kind of wish something was available where I could have spent some moments with my grandmother before she passed away, man. I'm still fucked up by that the last time I was able to see my granny was in the hospital Christmas last year, that I wasn't able to go to see her for her 84th birthday, that we had to do that shit by Zoom, that I wasn't able to go spend a holiday with my family, or I'm canceling fucking holidays because of this virus and this administration's fucking abdication of the duty and all of this shit. I'm sick of this shit, man. I'm sick of it. And then you got some people who just man, fuck it, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna go ahead and live my life. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to Dubai, I'm gonna go to Jamaica, I'm gonna go to Atlanta, I'm gonna be in a club with Gucci and Jeezy and shit. And they living their life. But could they be living their life at the cost of somebody else's? Because you decided that you was gonna be in the club, to go celebrate Gucci and Jeezy and them squashing the beef, and that's a beautiful thing. But also yo, man, Granny might be susceptible to whatever the fuck you might have caught in that club, but you're going to be talking to your granny and eating fucking turkey and dressing and shit come Thanksgiving. It's not just about you, is the point. It's not just about you. It's about the people around you. It's about the people that you say you love. And if you could protect your grandma, granny, or grandpapa, or your older aunts. And if you could protect anybody that you say you love, why in the fuck wouldn't you? Why in the fuck wouldn't you, man? So yeah, man, that's proud to be an American.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
And that's it. Normally we would have a champ of the week this week, but I can't think of anybody who I can bestow that honor upon this week, man. I really can't. I wish I could, but I don't know if I can bestow that to anybody this week, man. So we don't have any champ of the week this week, man. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I could not find anybody who did anything extraordinary this week. My bad. But it's time for us to get on up out of here. But of course, before we do, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead and read those, send us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here, replied to here live on the show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also hit us up on our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show, vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. And 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. I am getting ready to get on up out of here. I am tired. My voice is shot. And I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam. Peace.